So recently, I've had a lot of people asking what settings I use on Arena Breakout Infinite. So today I'm going through every setting I actually use, from graphics and audio to keybinds and sensitivity. These are the settings I've settled on after hundreds of hours, and they've helped me spot players easier, keep my game running smoothly, and honestly win more fights. So if you're looking for one of the best competitive setups, then this is the right place. Oh, and don't worry, I still have a gameplay video coming out in the next 2 or 3 days. I use the Attack Shark X3 mouse. It's just cheap and it works well. It's basically just a super light clone. If you can afford a brand new super light, I'd definitely go for that, but this one gets the job done at a cheaper price point. I play on 1400 DPI. It's a wireless mouse as well. So first I'm going to start with something super simple, and it's actually to do with your case or backpack being pinned. I always like to have my case pinned so I can always like pack reds as quick as I can. And then moving on to my normal settings, I play in 103 field of view. A lot of people play in 110, especially the super good players. I'm just familiar with 103 because it's the same as Overwatch, Valorant, and then I also play 103 on Apex Legends. Um, the default zero distance, I have it at the defaults or whatever because I don't use it very much. You always want to make sure you have head shake on low. Uh, I I have the extraction point indicator off, but some people like it on. It doesn't matter too much, but if somebody is camping the extract, it could be harder to see them in the smoke. And then the auto inspect valuable supplies I also have turned off because when you get the Petso item, like that purple, it pulls it out, and I just find that really annoying. And then I have my border brightness settings on low, but if you're newer to the game, it might help a lot to have it on high so you can spot the items that spawn on the floor a lot better. So I have fire and blur off. This basically just like makes bullets appear when you shoot and adds a little bit of like heat smoke kind of thing to the end of your barrel. And then I also have sharpen when sedated off because I just play with my game naturally sharpened slightly so I can spot enemies better. I have my quick soar off. And then for the prioritize valuable items, this one's actually really important. And you want to have your threshold high enough to where when you grab an item and there's a slot open in your case, it'll go into your case. So like let's say I have this at 1,000 and I have 4 slots open in my case, it'll put blue items into my case when I grab them. But since I have it up at 30,000, it'll only put items that are worth 30,000 and higher. I have auto rotate items on as well. This just helps me move things quick, helps looting, very helpful. I have the display 3D character in raid turned on because I just like seeing my character. But if you have a not so great computer and your game doesn't run very well, I would definitely turn this off just so you can get a little bit more frames. I'm not sure how much it would add, but it would definitely help a little bit when you go to your inventory. So moving on to the HUD, I have my team info on auto display. This is basically just the thing that pops up on the side when somebody talks or when somebody shoots their gun. And then for health and armor, I have it on always show. I always like having this on because if you're missing like 5 HP on your head, it will go away after a certain amount of time. But if you have it always on, you can see that's a different color than it normally is, and you just know you have to heal. I have my quick treatment on auto display just because sometimes I tap that button, but not very much. It's not really super important to me personally. I have my stamina bar on always show because I like seeing how much stamina I have always. And then I have my weapon bar on always hide because my weapon bar doesn't really matter. I always know what I have anyways. And then in the tactical item bar, I also have that on always hide because I don't use this whatsoever. So the tactical item bar is on the right side of your screen, and you can basically bind certain buttons to use certain items like your painkillers or meds, but I don't use it, so I have my position bar on always show because it's super important. Like if you're crouched and you don't know you're crouched and you're standing completely still, it's just helpful. It's just another thing that you can help. I have item quick bars on always hide. I don't use that at all either. I have ADS tips always show because again, sometimes I use the zero distance, but not normally. It helps a lot when you're on maps like Farm or Northridge or Valley because sometimes you are shooting people 100 meters away and it can actually be very helpful. This one you 100% want to have turned on and it's your raid time remaining. This is just a given. I have my performance info always on because I like to see what my ping is because sometimes towards the end of the game your ping will drop by anywhere from 8 to 14. I also have my compass on always show because it's really helpful for giving out callouts. And then you definitely want throwable alert ring on auto display. You can't put it on always show because it's not always showing, But when somebody throws a grenade at you, when it's on auto display, it'll always show that the grenade's coming. So moving on to image, I play on 16 by 9, 1920 by 1080, just native resolution, and I play on 240 hertz. I don't use VSync. I haven't used it before, but sometimes it'll cause stutters for certain players. I also have enabled main screen frame rate limit. I have that turned off because I don't want to limit my frames again. And then variable rate rendering, I do have turned on. So if you have DLSS, which is NVIDIA graphics card, you want to turn that on, and you want to also have it on quality. I can't remember if it's DLSS 4 or 5 now, but for me, I have an AMD graphics card, and I have Fidelity FX, I guess. It's just their version of DLSS, and I play on quality super sampling. So for my actual settings, like my image settings, I have my view distance on quality because it helps you see a lot further, and then everything is on basic, but my scope quality, don't mind the light quality. I had that on from doing screenshots earlier. But yeah, you want your scope quality on quality because otherwise it's gonna make your screen a little blurry and the reticle blurry. But if you don't have a great computer, you could always put it on balance. Moving on to my sound settings, I play on 100 master volume. My UI is at 50. This doesn't matter that much, just as long as you can hear it, because when you hover or click things, you just hear it. And then my sound effects, I have it 100%. This is like your footsteps and gunshots. It's also super important. I play around sound most of the time, so I need it. I have my background music off, but you can turn it on if you want. I also have spatial audio enabled, which makes it easier to hear, like the direction that an enemy is. My voice volume settings, they don't really matter. It just depends on what your mic is. And same thing with all these settings. So for my post processing, I play at 1.01 brightness, 1.08 saturation, 1.19 contrast, and 2 sharpness. This just is the best for me. I'm able to see players easily on my settings on my monitor. Now we're gonna move on to keybinds and sensitivity, and this one is kind of personal preference, kind of not. Like some keybinds are like genuinely helpful to have, and then other ones don't matter as much. Your sensitivity, I play on 0.14 mouse sensitivity and 0.13 aim, but honestly, I would use what works best for you and what you're most familiar with, not just my sensitivity. My free cam sensitivity I have at 0.23. This is just like when you free look. You want to always have it like at least close to double what your mouse sensitivity is, so you can look around a lot easier. So the double click interval I have at 0.3, the lowest it'll go, just because when you're double clicking items to like drop your bag and stuff, if you have it a lot higher, it's gonna detect it a lot more. Obviously, I don't invert my game. I don't use quick throw, which was in the game settings, so I have this turned off. I also have closed backpack when hit on. This one's definitely one that you're gonna want to have on because when you get shot, then it'll close your bag and you'll be able to run quicker. And then you also want to make sure you have switch weapon after throwing, because if you throw a grenade, it's just gonna pull out another grenade or your knife, and you don't want that. You want to always have your gun ready. So moving on to the actual keybinds, I play with WASD for my movement. To crouch, I use control, and I use that on hold, so I can tap crouch quickly. I can uncrouch and crouch really easily. My prone button I have on Z. This doesn't matter very much. You're not proning very often. And this one could be on press or hold, but I prefer press because when I'm proned, I'm normally sitting prone for a long period of time. So it's a lot better to just press it for me. My like walk or creep bind, I have that on caps lock and I have it on press, which is like toggle. You can have it not on toggle if you want, but I just prefer toggle. I have the default lean keys, Q and E, but I do know there's some people that like to play with their mouse buttons or even like V and N, for example. For sprint, I use left shift. I have that also on hold. Your leans, you also, I forgot, but your leans you definitely want to have on hold. Because if you have it on toggle, you're not gonna be able to peek very well. To interact, I have my interact is F. but this is like a personal preference key. It doesn't matter all that much. Your ability key, again, doesn't matter all that much. It's just you got to know what it is, because it's on Distorted Valley only. And then my free cam bind, I have it middle mouse, just so I can look around a lot easier. I have my ADS on hold, and my hold breath on my mouse button. This just allows me to work my scope a lot easier. Your tactical items, this does matter. This is your grenade. When you tap this button one time, it will pull whatever grenade you have equipped out. But if you hold G, then it'll come up with your wheel. So I just use G as that. I think that's the default. My switch sight style is on shift middle mouse. And then my switch sight magnification is actually bad. You don't want this. Because I have it on alt right click, I actually can't change my sight magnification while I'm ADS. My cook grenade is R, it's just what I've used for cooking grenades on multiple games, so your sight 0, this doesn't matter. I just keep it on scroll wheel. Your enable disable tactical equipment is basically just your flashlights and your lasers and stuff. I would keep this on press, and I do know a lot of people use keybind to automatically turn flashlights on, but I personally just don't like using that. So I have that. I just have it on my default bind, which is T. To put down and lift your headgear, you want to make sure this is on a bind that you actually know, because if this is one that you don't know and you accidentally put your headgear up, it could be really annoying. My quick reload button is Alt V. It's just like when you reload your mags when they're in your inventory. It's super helpful because I don't have to go to my inventory to start loading the mag. I can just do it outside of my inventory. And then for my quick bars and item controls, you can see it here. It's just default binds. I haven't really changed it. My discard backpack items, I have it on X and it's on press. And then my quick drop, I have it on double tap X. For quickly looting something when it's in a menu, I use F because that's what I'm used to from playing Rust. If you want to check a mag in a backpack, you just middle mouse. This, again, personal preference. This is all looting stuff, so I would just do it with whatever feels good. And then to rotate an item, I have it on R. Just feels good. Same thing with roll up. And then these binds really don't matter. The talk binds. This is just, again, personal preference, whatever works best with your keyboard layout. To open and close map, I just use M. That's what I'm used to. And that's about it for inside ABI.